Good afternoon from Richmond, Virginia for the 2022 High School National Invite. It has been an outstanding tournament thus far, and we are getting ready for our first of two semifinals that will be coming your way on UltiWorld. First up on the girls' side, we will have the undefeated Roosevelt against Lincoln, an all-Washington matchup here coming your way again on UltiWorld. Welcome here to the showcase field. Tyler Byram, Keith Rayner here with you. Keith, it's been a great tournament. All teams came ready to play, and now we're getting down to the last couple of games.
It's been an especially great tournament, Tyler, for the top-ranked teams coming into this event, including these two teams, Roosevelt and Lincoln, two of the Seattle teams that are going to get a chance to play against one another. Very excited to see how they perform because they have been mostly dominant, as have the other top seeds at this tournament.
This was a matchup that many anticipated would eventually reach in the semifinals. Both teams dominated pool play. Roosevelt and Lincoln both going undefeated and getting a bye, with Roosevelt getting a plus 29 point differential and Lincoln getting plus 25. So between these two teams and even in their quarterfinal matchups, they haven't had any close games thus far, and we anticipate this is going to be a good one. But when it comes to high school ultimate, sometimes not having that experience over a long weekend and close games, that could be a factor for one of these sides.
Fortunately for these two teams, they play in a very competitive Seattle area and have gone to some pretty strong tournaments this season, so they've had a chance to compete against some of the top teams. But along the way, as you see the bracket, they've had some good teams they've played against that they made look like they were more like average teams in their journey towards this. The winner will move on to face the other side of the bracket, where they'll see South Eugene, potentially, who's been the most impressive team in the field in the girls division.
For sure, those Washington teams have been quite dominant on the girls' side. Still waiting to see final results from Four Rivers and Ingram. So far for Roosevelt, again, they're the defending high school national invite champions. Won back in 2019. It's been a while. There probably aren't too many familiar faces for those that were watching back then, but they have experience, and they also have some talented freshmen as well. 6 freshmen, only 5 seniors. This will look to be a good stretch for this Roosevelt team in the upcoming years.
Absolutely, a factory for ultimate talent is Roosevelt. But Lincoln, I mean, this is essentially a new team. The history of this school, actually, it's an old school in Seattle, but it had been closed for about 50 years or so, and reopened in 2019. Obviously, with the pandemic happening, they weren't able to really have a full season. So in many ways, this is the first season for this Lincoln team. And because of the way that all had worked out, they basically had a team in 2019 that was practicing with just 9th and 10th graders. So now is really their first season ever with seniors as well. A couple of seniors who played at some other schools that have played at the High School National Invite, so they aren't completely bereft of experience at this tournament. But for most of them, this is a new environment, a new level of competition, even if they're familiar with teams like Roosevelt.
One of the top players for Lincoln will be the Team USA U20 selection, Lauren Gaddu. She also plays on the Seattle Riot on the club scene. She has had a great tournament and looks like she will be a big factor in this game if they are going to want to get the win over their state rivals.
She's big, she's strong, she's skilled, really a total package player, and you got to imagine she's going to have a big impact on this game.
These two teams came in ranked 2nd and 3rd, so of course you would expect them to meet here in the semis. We have observers here for this game, as well for the remaining stream games of this weekend. On the girls' side, Keith, we talked about a lot between you and I of how the top teams really established themselves, but that next tier, the battle for what we would consider to be the 5th place bracket, is going to be super competitive, because while some of the results were lopsided when they faced against the trio of Washington programs, everyone else, they still very formidable rosters and teams.
Absolutely. Being outplayed by these West Coast teams that we've seen be so dominant is not something to be ashamed of. These are very strong teams that we're about to see take each other on now for really the first time at this tournament.
Lincoln pulls. They're wearing red with black shorts. Roosevelt wearing white with green trim as there's an immediate huck into the end zone. That one tailing out of bounds. Intended target for Roosevelt would have been Kira Landgraf, the senior.
So a quick turnover. And we'll see how the team responds playing defense. I mean, these teams have been very efficient on offense throughout this weekend. This is going to be a different type of game for them.
And they're moving the disc forward again with it as well. High schoolers with observers. This is a whole new experience for some players.
Lots of differences in environment that young players are going to have to adapt to. So you see another throwaway.
Jaja Glelfand, the freshman, playing a D-line handler spot for
Gelfand, talented, but has been in and out of the lineup with some injuries. So glad to see that she's on the field for this one.
Another deep shot. And again, one thing for this game that the girls haven't had to deal with much this tournament is there is a bit of a breeze that have come in. We saw it yesterday morning when the boys started their competition, but on today, especially in the last half of last round, the wind has started to pick up as we've expected some potential weather being on the forecast this afternoon.
And I believe that wind is going directly away from the camera, so these teams are playing from the low sideline, and that's probably why you're seeing so much of the action on that side of the field.
Jump ball in the end zone, trying to make the grab. Makota had a hand on his shoulder, unable to get it. Long first point here to start for these two teams. Again, this is an O point for Roosevelt. Good flow. Vivian Hakimi looking deep, one more throw, goal for Roosevelt. They're able to get a long and well-earned hold.
Going to fire the team up after getting that first hold. They had to fight for it, really playing along that opposite low side sideline and able to attack. Instead of going to the deep shot on that open side sideline, working the unders a little bit and just attacking in flow. Much more efficient for them in that case.
Vivian Hakimi, talented freshman for this Roosevelt roster. Of course, playing on the first point of the game, you don't typically see that from many freshmen.
The Hakimis are going to be somebody that we're going to have to talk about through this game. Certainly, you have to note that Chloe Hakimi, number 11, is a 15-year-old who made the U20 U.S. national team roster. But Vivian Hakimi, obviously very talented as well. So you talked about this team having some really young players who have a really bright future ahead of them, and the Hakimis are at the top of the list.
Now we get a chance to look at the Lincoln O-line coming out. Lauren Godou wearing the black penny for this Lincoln team there on the far left.
That is Chloe Hakimi with the pull, so we'll get our first chance to see the young star play.
Short field on that pull there from Roosevelt. Good slash across the front, Ella McConnon. There she is, Godou. Barely get that one up line, just on the doorstep here of the end zone. Gets the reset back, Ella Woodmeyer. Trying to direct traffic. Godou makes a good upline cut. Two players are there though, and Faye Burdick gets the goal for Lincoln. Very strong hold there for them, 0 turns.
Much stronger than what we saw on the first point from their counterparts. And, you know, it can be scary when you have two players in the area for the same pass, but they're able to figure it out and get the score. And again, all open side, both teams just going up that backhand sideline is all we've seen in this game. haven't really seen anybody play on this half of the field at all horizontally. Everything taking place on that low sideline.
Of course, these two teams quite familiar with each other. They know what each team likes. They know what each team doesn't like. As we have 1-1 holds on both sides.
Coach Charlie Eide coming off for Lincoln and helping design their strategy. See what sort of defensive answers they have for this talented Roosevelt team.
This pull, I don't believe it even made it past midfield into the stands right in front of us.
Not sure if perhaps that was meant to ride the wind a little bit, and had the wind died. I'm seeing that the flags are a bit still in the distance.
But a short field this time for Roosevelt, goes over the head of the attacking number 8. Don't have her on our roster provided by the team, but nevertheless, a break chance here for Lincoln.
Just matchup defense from Roosevelt in transition, trying to slow Lincoln down. Have yet to get a turn off them in these early possessions, and the curse of the commentator strikes again. That one getting beyond the reach of the target.
It's now Lucy Tanner picking up for Roosevelt. Very collapsed stack in the end zone. Attacking from the front, Snyder. Shagal Gelfand able to get the upline to Tanner, as Tanner is able to get another score there for Roosevelt. Lincoln makes it difficult, but Roosevelt able to hang on and get the hold.
Yeah, these teams have had the disc each a couple times, and we've seen one easy flowing possession from either side. And I don't think that's because these offenses are nervous. I think that's because these defenses are good. And this is a ratcheting up. I think you're going to see these teams through these first couple points kind of find their footing against one another as the level of competition is just really shot up very quickly. All holds. Both teams in search of that first break. Lincoln hoping to avoid that fate. But their last offensive attack was fantastic. You really saw Ella Monahan and Lauren Gaddu featured in that. Monahan had a fantastic day yesterday. And obviously Gaddu is incredibly explosive as a player. I do expect to see them heavily involved in the attack for Lincoln moving forward.
And again, 3 points in. All scores on the break side. We had a couple where the disc started on, or not on the backhand side, rather. They started on the flick, and then they eventually moved over.
We'll see what kind of defensive adjustments that leads to. If we'll see some zone or some force middle, as teams try and make some changes. And already a poachy look from Roosevelt in response to that.
This is a theme we have seen quite often this weekend. First time, though, really, wind has probably been one of the reasons why. Great cut by the popper. One more through. And a Flosan was the one that really opened that up. Here's the deep shot. Caroline Jarvis gets the goal. And the spike. Lincoln once again a zero-turn hold, making it look easy, whatever defense Roosevelt throws at them.
I'm not sure if Jarvis has played with observers before or is just modeling what she's seen on the broadcasting club in college, but takes some time, stops and looks at the observer, waits for the signal, and then delivers the spike. Love to see it. Like she has been here before. Knows you don't want to get that unforced error. But a great point from Ella Widmeyer, the 10th grader on this Lincoln team. Love to see that she catches the disc in the middle of that zone and no hesitation turns and fires. That shows a player who has field awareness but also has an understanding of where their teammates are going to be. That's not something you see from players at such a young age, just 16 years old.
A lot of fans making the trek down from the Pacific Northwest. They are the farthest teams coming here to Richmond, and whatever Pacific Northwest roster was, boys side, girls side, you see quite a bit of family and friends able to come down.
Even some furry friends. Seen some good dogs out here at the fields, and everybody trying to battle the heat. I know that the teams from the Pacific Northwest were particularly struck by the sunny, low 80s weather that we faced yesterday, and it's starting to climb again back into the 80s, maybe even a little more humid today, albeit with a lot more cloud cover. And we'll see what effect that has on the teams, because over the rounds yesterday, we had some long rounds of play, 3 rounds for each team, and it clearly took its toll.
Hakimi unable to get it over to Tanner, and now Lincoln will have a break chance again.
And they're looking to attack in transition.
Faye Burdick. Reset one more to Sam Medina. Burdick. Couple fakes on the flick side. Abby Russell to the end zone. Lincoln gets the break.
And Lincoln tiptoeing up the sideline on multiple throws. Back in the day, you might have said they were jamming it on that, but a little more grace on their part as they worked right around the sideline. Just a wide throw on Hakimi's part. And I love that Lincoln was aggressive. Don't let them set up. Don't give them a chance to collect themselves. Make them play defense while they're still thinking about the turnover. Lincoln picking up and activating right away.
Abby Russell, finding Makota Uo, as it is now 3-2 Lincoln on top.
Madoka Uo also a strong player for them yesterday. Another sophomore. Both of these teams, like you mentioned about Roosevelt, certainly some young stars on their team, but we've not a lot of veteran presence necessarily on Lincoln's roster either. They've had some young players like Widmeyer, like Uo, who have been very involved for them. And I think they're not just their level of play, but also in their presence provide leadership for this team.
They are a sophomore and junior-led team, that being Lincoln. Only 2 seniors on the Lincoln roster, of course, with the school coming back and how redistricting always works and who's going where. Obviously, multiple factors at play.
An unusual scenario, not one you come across very often.
So based off the flags that we see, the wind has kind of been swirling. You can't exactly pick up where it's coming, but for the past couple points, this will be now an upwind point for a hold for Roosevelt.
Now, you and I both saw a lot of zone across the tournament yesterday where it was a little bit windier, but not so windy that teams couldn't play one way. I think it was just indicative that a lot of teams felt really comfortable with their zone. It felt like it was a strategic advantage for them. That was less true, I would say, of these two teams.
Trying to place it over the defender. Good grab by Glelfand. Looking for the up line. Waiting for the signal. Yes. Goal there for Roosevelt. Able to go upwind and get the hold, and then they'll have an opportunity to get the downwind break.
Nice job, all Hakimi and Gelfand here. Both on that U.S. national team. Shagal Gelfand has been one of the key players for this team as well. But Hakimi, you know, I was very curious to see what such a young player who's already acquiring accolades, what her play style was like. And she's certainly skilled, but it's the kind of mental athleticism, her understanding not just of the game, but of how to move that's already impressed me. Really strong defender, has a great sense of when to poach, of how to position her body to make different movements. And that is just something that feels just very natural watching her play. But she and Gelfand have been big going both ways for this team. Players who add a lot to offense and to defense.
Gelfand already 2 assists thus far. As it is 3-3. What has been a fairly paced game so far. 79 minutes left to go in the cap. And at this stage of the tournament, there are no hard cap. Lincoln quickly able to get it downfield through the zone. Unable to get reset. Now they're looking deep. Jarvis again able to get the deep cut and the grab, and another spike there for the freshman Caroline Jarvis.
Wonderful zone offense from Lincoln on that possession. You mentioned it quickly. That's the operative word. A real sense of urgency to how they were moving the disc. But what I love about this possession is that it concludes with a deep cut. I think a lot of players, especially young players, are afraid to cut deep against zones. There's this defender back there, often the best defender in the air on the other team. Players can get intimidated. They don't want to run away from the disc. But if you find your spots, if you figure out how to space the field, how to attack, I love that deep cut right down the middle of the field. Excellent job on it, and well spotted by the throw as well.
Jarvis being a great target for her Lincoln teammates. Again, the freshman with that experience to check over at the observer before the spike. I know we've all been there before on the opposite side, the early spike.
I've never done it, but I've seen it, and you can feel it from far away. You know, if you've got any empathy, it certainly is triggered by that.
Even the opposition gets some empathy on that one. One break so far. It was by Lincoln. Roosevelt started on offense as it is 4-3.
It's the first of 2 semifinals that will be bringing to you on the live stream, and then we'll have both the boys and the girls finals after that. So we get into the evening time and get some ultimate under the lights.
Yep, right now South Eugene and Ingram is the other semifinal. Ingram with a dominant second half over Four Rivers to win that semifinal contest. 14-10, big step through 4D. Lincoln was able to get a chance to go up 2 breaks.
Great takeaway. Maya Toney with the interception and setting up Lincoln with a chance to get this one.
Oh, low throw into traffic, and there is a discussion between the players.
Okay. All right, so we got a stoppage, but my understanding is that you are retracting the call?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Is that, you don't have to.
I just think as I was reaching for it, she pulled back my shoulder, but it's fine, I'll retract it.
Okay, but you're staying here. Stay here until we restart play here for a second, please. All right, so the call is retracted. All right, so we're going to restart play by making it live. Nobody's close enough to tap the disc for you, so you're going to ask her if she's ready, and then you're going to tap the disc and we'll be live. We're live, 20 seconds.
Love the observer mic here, as great job detailing what was happening on the play. Believe the foul was kind of behind. It wasn't the player that caught the disc. But quickly, upfield, Roosevelt. Landgraf with a nice upline pass to Chloe Hakimi. Big hold to get that one back there for Roosevelt. Lincoln had a chance.
Hakimi, very present so far for the Roosevelt offense. Catches the huck to start this possession. Another shot from Gelfand, we should note. And then also finishes it off with the goal. Hakimi has been playing not sparingly, but as just part of the rotation throughout this tournament, as Roosevelt has been in comfortable leads so frequently. But obviously, as they've seen this new level of competition, they've turned to a player who they know can carry a heavy load, and it has been a strong start to this one by Chloe Hakimi.
If you saw the stoppage and the turnover that leads to this big swing. And then finally, a good throw under the defender's arm, and we get nice rise on it. Good OI bend.
And a tough one if you're a fan of Lincoln. It always hurts when you're all the way on the other side of the field. You have a chance to make that scoring pass. You just miss it. And then moments later, the other team punches one in. It's just a heartbreaker.
So it looks like we have a timeout here on the field. 4-4 is the score line. And both these two teams from Washington State been top of the Ulti World Power Rankings for a majority of the season, along with Eugene. Roosevelt came into this tournament ranked number 2. They got the number 2 seed. Lincoln number 3 as well. As each team breaks their timeout, and again, this is one of the things of inexperienced teams not having observers. I know a theme for us is the timing of games has been somewhat, it's been sporadic. Depends on what field you go on. Some are being honest, some have really quick timeouts and really quick half times. Others taking their time. Some of it might be condition based, but when you're on the clock, it's a different feeling.
It is. That time suddenly feels like it's disappearing. It's a very striking difference in some cases if you aren't prepared. So just another thing, we've talked about so many different elements of the game that might feel different in this environment. But it's a great experience, a great learning opportunity for the coaches, for the teams. These are experiences that these players can carry forward into their college and club careers. Gelfand with the pull for Roosevelt.
Oh, a misread on the pull. Having to retrace your steps is never something you want to do, and then a turnover on the second throw. Lincoln was trying to rush it. Roosevelt, a chance to get the break back. Vivian Hakimi picks up a tough upline layout. That's Gelfand unable to sprawl out and get the disc.
So Roosevelt will be able to set up the zone that they basically hadn't even gotten started with on the last possession.
Have no familiarity with this set as they just threw right into the poach. Right now it's looking like a 3-2-2, but Lincoln might be spacing it out.
And aggressiveness from that offside wing.
Oh, a great read. Chloe Hakimi read the play as it was starting to throw a go. Full out sprint to be able to get the block. Roosevelt down a break. They can do it here. Looking to the end zone. She has steps. Roosevelt back on serve.
Lucy Mertz able to go up and get that one for Roosevelt, and Hakimi again showing up big. Gets a great read on that play, beats the offense there clean. Roosevelt fire into the end zone for the Mertz score.
Little bit of a floaty throw, but it just drops in there nicely. Perfect positioning for Lucy Mertz, the junior, 17 years old. able to have that one just drop right down. Big point there for Roosevelt, able to get it back. I think we might, wind's picking up. We may start seeing a little bit upwind, downwind as this goes on. Wind coming in from the left, camera left of this screen.
If the wind's also going to be switching, just add it to the list of potential adjustments for these teams and players.
So now if you're Roosevelt, came down with a hard zone, they really weren't able to get past midfield. Is that something you throw at it again? Again, this time they do have the wind and they do have the downfield attack of Caroline Jarvis, or do you maybe go back to person defense?
Given how short the couple of possessions they've had with this zone are, I might be willing to run it again. I don't love running the same thing over and over and over again. You give the other team a chance to figure it out. Also, potentially, if you have another set or a variation of this look, not a bad time to mix it up. Right when they think they're in rhythm, suddenly they have to do something different.
Low pull again, trying to carve it through the wind. Turn and throw. Good shot by Ella Widmeyer. Jarvis, again, already with 3 goals so far.
Am I experiencing deja vu, or did that look just like the other possession? Widmeyer catches it in the middle of the field and turns and in one motion sends it backhand to Jarvis. She comes down with a goal.
What beautiful placement on that, too. A little bit of an IO drop, just able to easily run onto it instead of dropping it over her head. That's a next level throw right there for a high school player.
And what a response. You love to see that sort of resilience to a possession where they had just gotten broken. They come out, nice clean hold, settle things back down, or even fire the team up to get back there out on defense.
So now 5-5. Halftime is at 8. Plenty of time left in cap as we've only gone through 21 minutes so far and played 10 points. That's very good pacing with the timeout as well. Again, these two teams, highly efficient offenses. They haven't been tested too much in this tournament. And today, or at least so far, Lincoln's offense has looked really well, and Roosevelt's trying to throw different things at them.
And both teams have a level of aggressiveness that feels appropriate. They're not hesitant about picking up the disc and getting things moving. I think that's helping keep this game flowing. But you know, I doubt that either of them has really seen a score like 5-5 throughout this tournament. Now, one thing I will say is about these teams, despite how strong that they've been, and this is true of the other 1 seeds in the girls division, even to some degree in the boys division, but these teams have done a great job maintaining their energy. And now it's not the hardest thing to do to be excited when you're scoring a lot and winning a lot. But, you know, it may not feel like the goal to go up 12-2 is quite as exciting as the goal to go up 3-1. So they've done a great job staying energetic throughout.
Chloe Hakimi. Once again, did she go out? Oh, she did. Anna Patisse, the senior. That one was close. Maybe had a chance if she looked down. Momentum was carrying her deep.
Would have been a tough play. Hakimi just not quite enough room for that throw.
Lincoln now going upwind, and that one, what a run on, and authoritatively taking that disc away. Back for Roosevelt.
Bella Mansfield has been one of the best defensive players I've seen at this event and comes up with the interception there. Although she had a pack of teammates around, that disc was going to Roosevelt.
Uh-oh. Oh, great snag. Mansfield. Mertz stepped over to the flick side, and not an advisable throw, as Lincoln had read that play well. Already had a player deep.
A great field position now for Roosevelt after the short field throwaway for Lincoln. Gelfand and Hakimi orchestrating the red zone offense.
Tight stack here for Roosevelt. Again, cutting to the front, as most teams do, especially at this level of play. Quick work, Patisse trying to give and go and get it back. Bella Mansfield now One more left wide open, and a long hold. Was there a pick? Observers coming out to talk about it. I think it's just...
There is no call. Sorry about that. There's a goal.
And a goal for Roosevelt, 6-5.
Lincoln with some chances. I think they may have been trying, either they were confused about what the force is, and they were trying to communicate what it was, or they were running a force middle off that stop disc with the vert stack right there, maybe hoping to force the disc right into traffic. But well handled by Roosevelt's handlers. I mean, they knew what they wanted to do and how to attack. Just work it over to that backhand side, completely uncovered option to get the goal.
Lena Millard-Kish getting the goal, her first of the contest for Roosevelt. This is the 2022 High School National Invite coming your way from Richmond, Virginia. Tyler Byram and Keith Rayner here with you.
These are the first games, Tyler, that we have on live stream, the first of 4, but there are a number of games that we've been able to film so far from this tournament, as well as a absolute trove of games from the college championships just a couple weeks. We couldn't be here, we couldn't be at College Nationals with 2 live streams without the support of our subscribers. So if you want to find out about all the benefits you get of being an Ultra World subscriber, including access to footage from this year's High School National Invite, College D1 and D3 championships, check out ultraworld.com/subscribe for the details. We greatly appreciate the support.
Another timeout on the field. Roosevelt again starting on offense, so we are on serve here. An early break by Lincoln. They made it 3-2, but Roosevelt came back, especially as the wind started to pick up a little bit more to make it 5-4. The score is now 6-5. Lincoln will be coming downwind offensively.
And one of the things about the Seattle youth scene, especially on the girls' side, is that there are a lot of top-level players who are committing their time to helping out. We just saw Kelly Johnson, often referred to as Vegas, who's one of the coaches of Roosevelt and has been with that team for quite a while. And she's going head-to-head with one of her club teammates on Seattle Riot. And I guess multiple if you count Laura Gaddu, but going up against one of her other former club teammates, Charlie Idy. Johnson played with Seattle Mixtape as well. So players with impressive resumes of their own, but taking time to help young players in the next generation get better, and in some cases even enhance their own club teams' rosters.
So here's that zone by Roosevelt. I think for Lincoln, it's just buy your time and then finally get a deep shot and send it to Jarvis. This time, though, Roosevelt gets the D. Chagall Gelfand.
Gelfand just waiting there for that deep one, but trying to attack in transition, and nobody was home for it.
Monahan back with the reset. Oh, that went over 2 different players. Jarvis again with 4th goal of the game.
This is starting to get suspicious, Tyler. I don't know if Jarvis has some sort of magic power over the disc, but it just keeps seeing to find its way to her. She's like a magnet. Even this throw that might not have been to her somehow just lands right in her hands.
A same third throw, a tough one to kind of navigate. If I had to guess, I would have thought Gaddu was the target there who was making the cut. But
interesting to see, Lincoln not afraid at all of Chagall Gelfand in the deep space. They just threw it directly to her on the first play, a jump ball, and saying, hey, go get it. And Gelfand comes down with it. And that doesn't register at all with the handlers on the next possession either. They say, who cares? We're just going to send it, and it works. Sometimes that fearlessness, it's hard sometimes to divine the difference between foolishness and fearlessness, but right there it works out.
It's a very fine line.
It certainly is.
And then once you're characterized one way as such, it's hard to recharacterize yourself. 6-6.
These teams have both shown aggressiveness and confidence, so I'm not surprised to see them staying on the attack, but neither one of these teams you should expect to be passive. And if we do see one of them become passive, I think you're probably going to see that team eliminated.
So we were just talking about Coach Vegas and Seattle, and they have a great ultimate scene. There's no denying that. They pride themselves on it, and the community that they have in Seattle as well. Knowing that these three teams are the top three teams and the friendly rivalry they have between coaches, are you rooting for this? Were you rooting for this rematch, or were you hoping, man, I hope somebody can upset them in quarters or make them go through pre-quarters and have a tougher path?
There are great teams here, and I would have loved to see another team emerge, but I just wanted to see these great teams really get tested against one another. And I certainly think that's what we're going to get. And a non-Seattle team, another Pacific Northwest team, seems right now like the Titan, the boss battle that might be awaiting at the end, South Eugene, although South Eugene will have to get through Ingram first.
That swing cut looked like the wind picked it up just a little bit. As you can see, sky's getting a little bit more overcast.
Yeah, there was some potential rain forecasted earlier in the day, and we haven't really seen any yet. Hope to continue that trend.
How many times can we say rain before Charlie starts sweating?
Well, I'm sure the Seattle teams are all for it.
Gadu able to get it through traffic. Good quick backhand reset. She's calling for it, taking over the point. This would be a break here for Lincoln. Right before halftime, Gadu walks into the end zone. Goal for Lincoln.
And we haven't quite yet seen Gadu with that kind of assertive point, but there you see just an athlete who there may not be an individual match for, maybe at this whole tournament. Size and speed combination just on another level.
And that was a big point for Lincoln as we're getting closer to halftime. Able to get the break to make it 7-6. Crucial point coming up on how the rest of this game is going to be swung. And with it, one of the coaches recognized and called a timeout.
You can't take them with you. You know, you get two per half, so you might as well make sure you make good use of them.
Hasn't necessarily been long points in this game either.
It has not. I don't think these teams are exhausted. There are a couple of players who've been playing a lot of the points. But this is something I actually wrote about in a column that I have on our site, Ultiworld. And timeout theory, just kind of the idea that every timeout, one team is probably winning the timeout. One team is getting a bigger advantage from it than the other. It's the same thing with most decisions in this game. If you want to run zone, for example, if one team is going to get a bigger advantage of that from the other. So it's not necessarily does my team. The question you need to ask is not does my team need a timeout. It's does my team need a timeout more than the other team needs a timeout. It's often very hard to know which one of those teams is benefiting. So I think in general you can focus on yourself. But if you're thinking about a higher level here, you want to make sure these timeouts are to your team's advantage and not necessarily to the other team's advantage.
So. Leads me to my question, Keith. Who wins this timeout?
We're going to find out, I think. I think the answer will reveal itself shortly. But one thing is we don't know who took the timeout. But I love this timeout if I'm Lincoln. I think Roosevelt took it, but I love we just scored. We have a chance to take half. Let's burn one. Let's get ourselves psyched up. Let's talk about our plan and come out and really step on the gas.
And it is starting to precipitate here at the field. Roosevelt needing a hold will be going upwind with the rain. Conditions we really haven't seen this tournament. But again, Pacific Northwest teams, they have certainly dealt with their fair share of wind and rain this season.
Don't think they will be intimidated by the change of conditions. In fact, they may feel at home. Teams backing up to make sure they're not going to be offsides. You and I both noted off air that we'd seen plenty of offsides go uncalled as teams were unobserved in earlier games, but now recognizing that that is no longer an option.
Pull right at midfield. Roosevelt couldn't have asked for a better spot. Person defense. Vivian Hakimi. Good inside throw as this one's lifted deep. Oh, what a sky. Chloe Hakimi comes down with it. And then they continue into the end zone. A strong hold there from Roosevelt off the timeout.
Wow, spectacular stuff from Chloe Hakimi. I mean, we're getting a little bit of everything from her. And need I remind you, she's only 15. It gets better, folks.
Look at that.
That's a better sky than I'll make in my whole life, and she's done it at 15.
And the quick dish over to her sister, Vivian. Look at that. And she caught that over her head. She wasn't even looking at it.
Impressive stuff. Tanner getting the goal. Tanner also is having a strong tournament, as a number of players, as you can imagine, on teams that have been playing so well have done. Tanner, one of 3 players on this Roosevelt roster, headed to the University of Washington next year. A team with no shortage of talent or big-time recruits. Could that be the future for Chloe Hakimi? Potentially. I'm sure Washington is already making their recruiting pitch.
Why not?
I'll make my Connecticut pitch right now if Chloe comes back and listens to this. University of Connecticut, it's a wonderful place to play, Chloe Hakimi.
So it is 7-7, what I like to call half mini, or half uni.
Half uni. I believe the popular term, especially in Europe, is Galaxy Point.
Galaxy Point. I like that. Charlie does not like that.
Our producer Charlie Eisner gives it the thumbs down. But either way, the team that scores will have the advantage at the halftime break.
Roosevelt trying to get that break back to keep it on serve. If Lincoln is able to get a hold, could end up being a 2-point swing because they come back out on offense.
And a different type of zone look from Roosevelt, at least as the disc is in the middle of the field. Now that's moved to the sideline, and they're putting the trap on. Looks a little bit like what we saw earlier.
Oh, able to thread the needle, getting up to Gadu. Some momentum. Roosevelt probably needs to transition into person. Jump ball in the end zone, knocked away. Chloe Hakimi in the area.
I think it might have been Gelfand who got another deep block. At some point, you might have to think we can't keep throwing jump balls to her.
That would be Gelfand's second block. Roosevelt looking for the break here on the half uni point. Here we go. One more up. Mertz out of bounds.
Nice pressure from Gadu on that one. Mertz is a big and impressive target, but can't quite bring that in.
They've had a couple close ones down that line today.
No lack of effort trying to make sure that's no in, but with the defensive pressure, you don't have a lot of room to make a more complex play.
So the official, or excuse me, the observer. I've been calling too many AUDL games.
Okay, we have a foul. No contest. We're coming in saying stalling 1. It's on your check.
Faye Burdick has been getting a lot of touches and tries to go to the high release back in.
Oh, a Callahan to take half. What a play.
Anna Pettis knocking that one away and then getting off her feet for the Callahan to send us to the break.
Anna Pettis with a Callahan in the national semifinals. Just gets a tip on it, and she just focuses in. She would not be denied, and that will take us to halftime. Roosevelt on top, 8-7, getting a key break here before halftime.
there is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds, defy the naysayers,
And even defy gravity.
A place where it's accepted that success
doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave, to the determined.
a place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
a place where we remember to laugh,
Where we learn to trust.
Learn to high-five strangers.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
a place where character, community, and competition
Are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play ultimate, we live ultimate.
And it's caught by A.J. Larson.
Just a massive layout catch there by Kucharski.
Davis looking for Gordon deep. Couple of defenders giving chase.
And that's a beautiful shot from Swiatek. And then they continue to the end zone.
And a great catch by Roosevelt. Down, popping up in the air. Roosevelt goes up over everybody.
Soars through the air for that catch.
And there is a Callahan.
Hand block and got right back.
Now looking at downfield for Larson. He lays out and makes an incredible catch. Seymour going for the big gainer, looking for it all. And Roosevelt lays out Medina. They're going to the final.
Pacheco with room and puts it up for Gadu. This is the kind of shot Roosevelt wants. And now the deep shot for Gadu. And she brings it in. It will be this year's 2019 High School National Invite champions.
Davis looking for Gordon right away. Roosevelt in the area. Roosevelt goes up. Gordon gets it though. Berkeley win the High School National Invite.
last 50 years have seen a lot of positive change.
Around a whole range of important issues.
And some things remain reassuringly unchanged.
Like the spirit of our game.
Ultimate is 50 years young.
And still a perfect circle.
Of fair play,
athletic pursuit,
and camaraderie.
In fact, Ultimate was a social network.
Before social networks even existed.
Respetamos nuestras diferencias.
And understand the value that they add.
The revolution of the disc in flight continues to prove
that there's nothing we can't achieve
when we
pull together.
Long live Ultimate.
Larga vida Ultimate.
Long live Ultimate.
Welcome back to the girls' semifinals of the High School National Invite here on UltiWorld. Tyler Barham and Keith Rayner here with you. We want to start out first apologizing. We had a little roster snafu here in the press box. Caroline Jarvis, you were great. We love you. At the same time, it was Anna Amen who was the one that was controlling the deep space, patrolling the skies, able to get 4 goals in the first half, wearing number 57. So I look back at Anna Amen's highlights of how she was able to score. She came out hot, able to get the first goal for Lincoln. And then just every single deep shot went her way. She's made some outstanding cuts. Keith, you talked about how she makes those deep cuts even in a short field, and her throwers are able to get her the disc with ease.
Just a high school sophomore, but has been finding the deep space regularly and get into the end zone, even when it's not for her, just in the right spot to make the play.
Being in the right spot is half the battle.
It's a skill, too. It doesn't just happen on accident. I mean, I guess if enough tries, you might guess the right spot, but I don't think Anna Amen is guessing out there.
No. She's been great. Again, apologize for that for Anna Amen's family and friends watching this one. She had an outstanding first half, and we'll make sure to give her some love here in the second. This game, it's been a back and forth one. It's been competitive. We've seen breaks on both sides. Lincoln got the first. Roosevelt got it back. Lincoln got it right before half, and then Roosevelt, the half uni point, able to score. The Galaxy point, able to make it 8-7.
Someone in the booth volunteered half a verse, so we've got lots of different options. Take your pick. Do we need a Twitter poll, perhaps?
I think we need to set this in stone. We need to have a discussion, have a forum.
I'm even open to new ideas if you've got them out there. You can certainly tweet at us, whether it's at UltiWorld or UltiWorld Live, or my personal handle at FullFieldHammer. But a very impressive first half, really fast pace. 2 teams with a lot of skill and speed. And looking like that the winner will advance, most likely, barring a truly remarkable comeback effort in the other semifinal. They'll be facing South Eugene. They're up 10-1 at last count on Ingram. Just a continued run of absolute dominance.
Exactly what you expect between the teams coming in. I mean, if you came into this tournament, said 3 of the final 4 teams were from Washington and Oregon, you wouldn't be surprised at all.
No, with 5 teams in this field and all of them in the top 10 in our power rankings, and we have had a Seattle team in the final of every high school national invite, and we've had winners from Seattle in the past 2. Although past 2 is taking place in 2019 and 2018.
For Roosevelt, we gave shout out to Anna Amen for Lincoln, but for Roosevelt, I mean, the Hakimis have been great on their side, especially Chloe, able to get a great sky in the middle of the field. She already has a goal in this contest, 2 goals in this one, and she's one of the people that paces the offense. They kind of run through her a little bit.
Yeah, she and Chagall Gelfin have figured in prominently for this team, both on offense and defense. Gelfin really driving the defenses the deep in their zone against a Lincoln team that is not shy about sending the disc.
So here we go. Lincoln coming out on offense. They are down 7-8. They've been broken twice offensively here in this game. Roosevelt having some success with this zone look, which we've seen really since the midway point of the first half.
Lincoln doing a nice job keeping the disc moving.
This one down the line. Ella Monahan able to make the grab. What a flick throw. I believe that was Nina Debris. As we have a player down, though, for Roosevelt at the end of the play.
And, of course, you hope that's a cramp for Chagall Gelfand, who went down there, immediately reached back and grabbed that left leg. So you hope that's a cramp and not any sort of strain on the muscles. Gelfand has been fantastic in this game. He's a key player for this team. Not able to stop that Lincoln score.
Here's a look again.
And this is how you want to draw it up if you're going to attack the deep, is trying to get past them. Instead of throwing into a situation where they're going to be a figure in the play, you want to get somebody sprinting past them at full speed, since the deep is often not running in that direction. Nice job by Lincoln to make the play.
Forgive me, that was actually Ella Widmeyer who had the nice toss down, and it looks like exactly what you're saying, maybe a cramping situation for Gelfand.
Good to see her moving around under her own power, and hopefully we'll see her return to the field shortly. But Lincoln can celebrate a hold to start, and a nice one at that. Moved the disc around among the handlers and then found the deep shot that they liked, and it was really ideally placed. Ella Widmeyer has been very strong for them. I mean, she has been able to get the disc into great positions to throw from. That's one of the things I think you can take away from this Lincoln zone offense is they're not throwing from the backfield. They're not throwing from static positions where someone's just holding the disc and looking for options. They're getting the disc moving. They're moving it past the first layer of the defense and then sending the disc from that position where they're getting unmarked throws. So it's really, there are throws setting up those deep looks, and then, of course, quality deep looks from Widmeyer.
Yeah, and cutting for those opportunities as well. I mean, that's something that even very good college teams struggle with, to be able to, they're able to get it to the zone, but have those continued cuts to be able to progress down the field, and they've had no issue with it.
And to be honest, I think this is one of the things that makes Ultimate beautiful, is how much of a team game it can be in this way. Sure, Ella Widmeyer threw a huck to her teammate, and you could talk about just those two players, but so many other players figured into the things that made that score happen. You can't do it by yourself. You can't throw it to yourself unless you're going to go out there and get a Callahan, hashtag out of Pettis, but you otherwise can't do it by yourself. So using your teammates and setting things up for them is part of what makes this game beautiful.
Yeah, I was talking to Bill Nye a couple weeks ago.
Just casually talking to Bill Nye.
He told me Ultimate is the only sport where you cannot score by yourself. A teammate has to throw you the disc, and no other of the traditional sports that you think of is that limitation.
Don't introduce him to Anna Pettis then. Speaking of.
Yep, Pettis able to toe the line and get it in. Roosevelt, what's that, 3 throws, 4 throws? Quick, easy point there for their O-line.
We had seen those kind of quick, easy points from Lincoln in the first half, and Roosevelt able to respond. Then we get a nice little celly. And a well-deserved one. As Pettis deals the finishing blow to a great offensive possession. Able to hold position, so even though that disc tailed away from her at the end towards the boundary, she was able to stay between that landing zone and the defender, so the defender had no play on it.
Lucy Mertz with that nice toss. The 17-year-old able to get a goal and an assist so far, and that's what we're looking at just off to our right.
Nobody's been able to stop these teams or South Eugene at this tournament. The one thing that maybe could stop them could be Mother Nature.
I will say, the way the wind is coming in, though, we should be good. We should be good.
Of course, we're taking every precaution against lightning. There's a lightning policy in place, and they're monitoring to see how far in the distance lightning might be. And as we hear, and you likely hear in the background, the horn going off, I believe that probably is a lightning warning. So teams are going to enter a lightning delay, which will mean they'll have to get to a safe location. The structures you've seen on screen are not that. A pop-up tent will not qualify, so most teams, I think, will be heading to their cars.
And this is something everyone kind of knew coming in today that was a threat. I mean, the storms, they were expected to be worse. It could have been a washout for the entirety of the day, but at this point, we've been able to make it so far, get to the semifinal rounds on both sides, and relatively untouched, but right now going to have a brief lightning stoppage here as, of course, safety being top of mind for everyone here. So with that, we'll take a break here as well. We're going to have to go and retreat and find some safe spots. I don't necessarily think a metal press box is exactly the best place to be during a lightning delay. But nevertheless, we'll take a quick break here on Ultiworld. Roosevelt on top 9-8 on Lincoln at the high school national invite.
Everyone needs to clear the field and find shelter. You need to go to your cars. You cannot remain on the fields. We're in a lightning delay. We will keep you posted. It'll be at least 30 minutes.
Wait, tell me.
Hey, Scott. Shannon. Tell Scott, I think he's saying I'm offline and certain features aren't going to work. It says I'm offline. It says several features aren't going to work. And I'm like, and I go to click on retrieve reservation. I've got even 4 bars. That's the thing I can't figure out. That's the problem. I go to retrieve the reservation and it won't let me retrieve the reservation. Crap. I've got 4 bars. And it says I'm offline, and I don't know why it's saying I'm offline. This is what I get when I get there. Yeah, I know, I get that too. If I go to read it there, but the problem is I keep saying I'm offline.
And we are back here at the High School National Invite after a brief lightning delay that paused action across all of our fields here. Didn't go too long, just over, 45 minutes at this point. So about to get action started back on here on UltiWorld. We right now have Roosevelt and Lincoln. Very close game, Keith. 9-8 score. Neither team's been able to get ahead by more than 1 point, more than one break with that. Lightning delay as a coach, what's your main focus being able to come back out? This one about 45 minutes, so not a long break, but there was a little, you could have gotten cold.
45 minutes, a tricky amount of time because it's not so long that you feel totally out of your zone, but it is long enough that you feel like you got to get moving again, got to get your bodies used to being active. So having a clear plan, but the main thing I think is about dialing in your mental game, re-engaging your team. After 45 minutes, particularly, a bunch of teenagers, I imagine their minds are going to wander elsewhere. It can be difficult to stay focused on the task at hand. Watching these first couple points out of the break to see who still has that high level of focus, I think will be a defining trait to see who has the best chance of taking this game, because like you mentioned, it has been very close throughout. These two teams look pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, and normally I would ask you, but since it's a close game, it's really hard to say until we see what happens who the delay helps out, if anybody. But they've been back and forth each time. We're kind of on serve at this point. Again, Roosevelt started on offense. It should be Lincoln receiving here to coming out of this long break.
And both teams have had their fast, quick, smooth scores. Both teams have had more challenged scores. Both teams have generated turnovers and breaks. And neither team has been seeming like they're over-exerting their top-end players. That might be a place in which you might think, okay, the lightning break's going to help this team get a chance to rest their best players' legs. But I'd say that the usage looks pretty even across these two rosters.
I will say, during our break, the wind did shift. So if you're thinking up, wind down, wind a little bit, it's kind of completely done a 180. Wind is now coming from the right to the left, and you should see on this pull here from Roosevelt, one of the nicer pulls we've seen coming from the right side.
Chloe Hakimi has been fantastic, and there with a nice pull to start not the second half, but restart the second half, I should say.
Seen a lot of Lauren Gaddu today for Lincoln, as well as Anna Amin, but a turnover and now a chance for Roosevelt to get a break. Again, they lead 9-8 here in the second half. Less than 35 minutes before cap. Oh, what a throw. A good step around backhand there by Hakimi, and Roosevelt with the break.
What a start coming out of the break. And, I want to talk a little bit about what we saw there because, Faye Burdick was at the center of this turnover. You might not necessarily say that that's her fault. It was catchable, but a difficult play to make. But then just clamps down the reset. Looks like she may get a punt, a terrible option for Roosevelt. But out of nothing, Chloe Hakimi just creates a beautiful opportunity, steps around, delivers a pass to Mertz, who has been coming on strong in the later parts of this game, and Mertz able to break free for the goal.
Mertz with her second goal of the contest. Chloe Hakimi, 2 goals and an assist, and these are approximate. We may have missed a goal or an assist here or there, but that's what she's gotten so far.
And plenty in between those goals and the assists. She's doing a lot of work between the 70s too.
But right now, a key spot being able to get the break outside of the stoppage, especially with so few points remaining in this contest. If Roosevelt can string a break or two here or there, that may be all she wrote.
This is our first 2-point lead that we've seen all game, but we also have not seen a team score 3 in a row. Teams have been able to respond to getting broken with strong offensive possessions, Lincoln included. So Lincoln has shown that they can deal with this situation effectively. They'll have to do it again now.
Roosevelt again in the zone. Doing a good job of not letting those swings gain too many yards, but here's the look. Widmeyer. Oh, and a great run down by Ella Monahan.
Monahan says, don't mind if I do. Excuse me. I'm going past you for this one. And just the sprint speed for Monahan. You got to know at this point, Ella Widmeyer gets it in space. It's going towards the end zone. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times. Certainly Roosevelt probably has. And Mertz really in good position. Maybe could have tried to get off her feet for that block, but Widmeyer just shows off the wheels for the score.
Widmeyer with her 3rd assist, and that is what you needed if you're Lincoln. A strong statement by your offense, able to thwart the momentum that Roosevelt was able to get off that early break outside of the stoppage.
At the risk of being trite, I'll go back to boxing analogies. We're the favorites of commentators everywhere. Every time that one of these teams lands a blow on the other one, there's a counter. We aren't seeing anybody string together the combos, try and knock anybody out of this game, because every time that it seems like somebody might seize the advantage, the other team responds and says, I'm not done yet. And that's made this so entertaining to watch. And this back-and-forth contest has felt really that even the whole way through.
Go back to the first half. Roosevelt's currently on a 4-2 run with their offense coming out on this point. They've looked very solid. It's been a minute since Lincoln's been able to get one off of them, and those look like they've been able to first chance to see them rather. I mean, outside of the stop.
If you go back to the end of the first half and how it concluded with that incredible Callahan by Anna Pettis, I mean, that has been a game changer. It's really changed the tenor of this game. That possession, being able to take that score into the half and take a break, I mean, that is what's led to the 4-2 run.
Chloe Hakimi picked up. This is Lucy Mertz. What a flick. Just a little bit, though, too far for Pettis.
Yeah, Mertz and Pettis not quite on the same page there. That throw forcing Pettis to turn. But Pettis has to turn over her outside shoulder. She turns on the closer shoulder to the thrower, which puts her in a back pedal, and you're always going to decelerate a great deal that way. If she could turn over that outside shoulder, get a quick read, she could probably maintain her speed a little bit more effectively and maybe get a piece of that disc.
Here's the opportunity for Lincoln to get the break back. Great grab by Lauren Gaddu. Again, a member of the Team USA U20 team, but off the reset, there's a drop.
Mertz is taken off, but now stops and comes back under. That is a sneaky cut. Doesn't get rewarded.
Mertz again. She's looking down low and turns it over. So now Lincoln with a chance to score with person-on-person defense by Roosevelt. Gaddu and Pettis, that is a fun matchup, but there will be a call made by Widmeyer.
Here it is, here. Yep. Yep.
Quick discussion. Pick back up. Monahan. One more to Gaddu. Gaddu looking deep. This is Amin. And Anna Amin with her 5th goal of the game. We got you right this time, Anna. It is 10-10.
She is stacking them up in this one. And again, we see Lincoln get to that backhand side. They start with the short backhand throw into that shallow lane and then swing it out wide and get the deep shot from there. I mean, they have been attacking in that same sort of pattern. Sometimes they skip the swing wide and, Widmeyer will just take a shot initially. But that inability to deny the early throw that comes shallow is what's preventing Roosevelt from being able to stop this deep attack, which is being spearheaded by Anna Amin.
So there's the break back for Lincoln. Might have a timeout here on the field once again. But exactly what you said. Roosevelt, they take the uppercut, And then a big right-hander there by Lincoln to get right back and get the break to even up this contest. Cap is at 15 for today. That's the point Cap got to win by 2. Looks like we'll be able to potentially get there with 26 minutes left to go and before we get to soft cap.
And still looking like these teams are playing for a spot in the final against South Eugene. It's been very impressive. An imposing opponent awaits the winner of this game, but these two teams are really having to battle it out. You know, this is exactly what we wanted. Two teams that have been two of the class teams at this tournament, and they finally get a chance to go against one another, and they've treated us to a pretty exceptional contest.
South Eugene on top of Ingram 12-4. Most recent update was 49 seconds ago. So again, South Eugene cruising in their semifinal. You were just joining us. We've talked a lot about the Pacific Northwest and South Eugene, Roosevelt, Lincoln. Those are the top 3 teams coming in as expected. Top 3 teams here as we're winding down the tournament. Roosevelt, the reigning champion, winning back in 2019. It's been a couple years, but back again. And I don't like the term defending a title, but I don't think there are many players that would say they're defending either because it's been so long.
Yeah, the returning champs is kind of a misnomer. You know, they've held on to the crown for a couple of extra years as we all took a little break.
2019 would have been a good year to win it. Then have to turn back in the trophy.
Maybe they should say we were the champions for 3 years, you know. It makes it sound like you won 3 of them.
Chloe Whitmire underthrows it. Kate Campbell runs through for Lincoln, and now Lincoln a chance to go up by 1, able to get 2 breaks in a row. Whitmire. Little floaty just outside the left arm of Makota. Oh.
Couple close looks at it, but no dice for Lincoln.
And here's Chloe Hakimi testing her receiver deep. Oh, what a grab! Coming in late, Lucy Mertz scooping it off the turf. What a game for Mertz as a layout block by Faye Burdick will draw attention from the observer. As Vivian Hakimi, the freshman receiver for Roosevelt, making a call.
Players discussing.
Yeah, must have lost our observer mic in the lightning delay.
Certainly hard to deny that there was quite a bit of contact during the play. But it's always a question of who had the right to that space, who got there first, and also, you know, where in the progression of the play, what impact on the play did it have?
In the moment, it looked like to me Vivian Hakimi did a great job of kind of boxing out her defender of the play, and really the only way to make the foul is this is going to be Hertz coming in late. You see the jump ball, and then Hertz able to scoop it up. Great grab in a pivotal moment.
Yeah, we mentioned that Mertz has been playing very well in the latter portion of this game. It's really come on strong, and I think that they really appreciate the support that Hakimi, and particularly, you know, I don't think we've seen Chagall return to this game. Chagall Gelfand left the game earlier with what looked like potentially cramping, but has not returned.
So they sustain the call of a foul as they quickly go up line, and Lincoln knocks it away. Those that are wearing red in attendance would say the disc does not lie in that situation.
Just a forced look. Hakimi is a tempting target, but you got to make sure you deliver it. And that throw just stuck on the hands of Whitmire. And not in the good way.
Chloe Hakimi looking for options in the end zone. Good floaty swing to continue. catches a gust of wind, and Gadu comes in to snatch it away.
And Gadu is off to the races, and so are her teammates, but perhaps a little too fast.
So many unforced errors by Lincoln in this point alone. Such a pivotal point in the contest. They're getting the chances, but offensively they haven't been able to move it.
But it's been Roosevelt with 2 looks at the red zone, and as of yet, no score.
Good handler defense by Lincoln. Vivian Hakimi with an active mark in front of her and a miscommunication defensively. A huge mark put on by Faye Burdick. And timeout called by Lincoln. A wise timeout with that.
Burdick, we saw earlier flashing the great handler defense and now showing off the mark. I mean, you love a handler that can cover another handler. You kind of know what other handlers want, what their patterns are going to be. Burdick's been able to lean on that in her athleticism to help stifle this offense.
Not sure what they're discussing here. Maybe did she drop the disc before calling the timeout?
Why going in right away is, yeah.
Not sure. But nonetheless, Lincoln calls a timeout. This is an offensive point for Roosevelt. Lincoln has scored the last 2, a hold and a break. This is easily the longest point we've had of this game so far.
We see that miscommunication. And the most common thing that we see in these situations is a disagreement about where the stall count should be.
I think you're right there, Keith.
And maybe a question about when the stall count started. Should it have began when it was being uttered? But observers will help sort out the mess down there.
They obviously came to a resolution because they broke sides. Hopefully we get that observer mic back for some future games.
And you saw Widmeyer when she went to pick up, she kind of shook her right hand, her throwing hand. I hope that's not a sign of potential injury and maybe it's just a little bit of nerves after throwing that last forehand and having it get caught on her fingers and get out of control as it came out of her grip. Hopefully that's not a sign of any potential injury.
Well, and the wind is at their back, which was a little weird to see that throw by Widmeyer. The way it just kind of angled down cross field.
No surprise to see Roosevelt take advantage of the break to come back in a zone. We've seen them utilize these types of look pretty frequently.
A 3-2-2 as Lincoln's doing a great job of spreading out the field and giving them downfield options.
Lincoln using that width to get off the sideline and force the defense to expand, open up holes like that one.
Burdick swung over. Kate Campbell. One more to Uo. Good patient offense here by Lincoln.
Roosevelt transitioning into a one-on-one look, and it helps get a turnover. That throw behind Uo. She gives one up.
You could tell Burdick might have rushed it a little bit from when she wanted, or she should have thrown it, realized she was throwing it late, and then tried to rush that next throw. This is an 0 point for Roosevelt. A timeout has been called already in this point by Lincoln. Pettis on the sideline, gets it back to the middle with Nora Snyder. Isabella Mansfield. She's looking down. Quick throw to Tanner. Good recovery by Lincoln. And Chloe Hakimi streaks in for the upline. A huge hold by Roosevelt.
And a hard-fought one at that. A number of different red zone opportunities for Roosevelt. And while they took more of those than they probably would have liked, able to stand up defensively to Lincoln and prevent that counterattack that might have put Lincoln into, I wouldn't say the driver's seat to control this game, but really made this contest feel up for grabs.
Hakimi getting another goal. Chloe Hakimi, that is 3 goals and assist in this contest. She's been phenomenal. They made the World Junior team as just a 15-year-old.
And there's nothing in her game that belies that age. I mean, this is a polished player, even at this point in her career.
And she's played predominantly most of the points here in this game. Offense and defense going both ways for a talented Roosevelt team.
And I wonder if we're going to start to notice that absence of Chagall Gelfand as we move into the later stage of this game, particularly as the deep presence in the Roosevelt zone. And that was where I think you most noticed her impact, was her ability to win in the deep space. We've seen Lincoln's very aggressive about attacking that space, even in zone offense. How will that matchup play out without Gelfand there?
So it is 11-10, 15:48 left to go before cap goes off. We've had quite a few commentator jinxes, but right when I said that this game should go to cap, we have the longest point of the contest.
Can we do it on purpose? Oh, this is going to be a really boring point. I think this will be a boring point and a boring game.
I don't think it works that way.
Oh.
Widmeyer. A good read by Gadu, just short, one more throw. A strong hold by Lincoln, a little bit of aerial luck as well, but they get the hold.
We may not know how the commentator's curse works, but I'm pretty sure this Lincoln team knows how their deep offense works, because that well just will not run dry. They go to it again and again, and it's often the same people in the same spots, and the defense has just not figured out how to take it away.
And you saw there for Gadu, she didn't even really go up and test the disc. She knew she had the positioning, she had the box out, she waited for her defender to take that extra step forward, and then once she elevated, Gadu then just read the disc. Relatively quiet day, I would say, though, for Gadu. Roosevelt's done a great job of that matchup, trying to limit her impact in the game, but it goes back to one point we were making earlier before the delay with it takes a full team. It takes 7 players, and Gadu, she's been all over the field getting reset. She hasn't been scoring the goals, she hasn't been throwing the assists, but she's been a huge part of their offense, and just the threat of pulling your best or second best, or however Roosevelt designates her in terms of your defense, drawing that attention.
Absolutely. If you just looked at the box score with goals, assists, blocks, and turnovers, Lauren Gadu might not jump off the page. But if you watch this game, I mean, you watch 3 points, and you can tell that she's been one of the most impactful players in this game.
We have a final. South Eugene winning over Ingram. So South Eugene girls, the top seed heading into this tournament, will play for the high school championship. Of course, that game later on, live streamed by UltiWorld. Me and Keith will be on the call as Chloe Hakimi tries again, and it works. Mertz has been the favorite downfield target, but then throws it to Gadu. Gadu able to crash in for the block and rejects Roosevelt at the end zone.
Well, that's one way to get on the stat sheet. Is to jump in on a play like that. But another red zone error for Roosevelt, particularly at that front cone, is giving them trouble.
But here's a gift. Lincoln working a handler weave. Had the wrong angle on the disc. Picked up by Tanner. Looking for Chloe Hakimi. Chloe Hakimi in there for the score. All handler movement there, handler initiated offense for Roosevelt. It is 12-11, and here's the grab by Mertz.
An awesome grab. But then the throw just not cognizant of the presence of the defender. And you need to take the easy looks in the red zone.
I even think with that one there, it might have been just her trying to put a little bit of touch on it to try and not jam it in there. She had a look, but she wanted to put a touch, and that allowed her to do the extra steps.
But again, the defense is held up. Lincoln has not been able to punish them. That time it felt a little bit more like that was Lincoln's mistake more than it was Roosevelt's incredible defensive presence. That throw just got a little bit beyond the reach of Grace Walker. But Lincoln's got to find a way to take advantage of these opportunities. If a team's going to be this inefficient in the red zone and you're a team of the quality of Lincoln, then you got to be able to make them pay for some of these.
Chloe Hakimi, 4 goals for Roosevelt, leading the team. The freshman, can't say enough about her and the player that she's becoming before our eyes.
I know. I feel like we're gonna run out of superlatives, and we got like 10 more years of this.
Hakimi will be pulling. 10:45 left to go in cap. It is 12-11. 3 straight holds as they go back and forth. Largest lead of the game was by Roosevelt when they were up 10-8.
The personnel is getting, the rotations are getting tight. We're seeing a lot of the same faces going out there. Seeing a lot of the same people touching the disc.
Oh, what a spot. What a spot by Gaddu. Mertz had the read, got a little bit too aggressive. But Lincoln able to watch it go right into their hands. 12-12.
The recipe is clear. I mean, and this is where maybe you see the missing presence of Gelfand. They have not been able to get a great read on the deep spaces. Mertz is frustrated that she has 2 cutters behind, one in front of her, one behind her. I don't know at what point Roosevelt either needs to switch to a different defensive look or move the personnel around, but I kind of feel like they're banging their head against the wall a little bit with this defense and continuing to watch Lincoln just sling forehands to the end zone.
Again, she went down earlier before the lightning delay. We thought it could have been cramps, but I think at this point it's easy to determine it's likely a little bit more than that, as we haven't seen her at all since that injury. As we have a timeout, again, we had the delay, all start times in preceding rounds and live streams, as we have another boys semifinal coming up your way here on All Too World. We're going to have both the girls and the boys final as well. All those times from originally scheduled are pushed back an hour.
So lots of Ultimate for you folks at
Yes.
home. I mean, if you wanted to spend all Saturday enjoying some of the finest high school play in the country, well, we got you. Don't worry.
So 12-12. Roosevelt will be on offense. According to our graphic there, 1 timeout remaining by Lincoln, as Roosevelt has expelled them all. It's go time now. This is essentially, you could say this is essentially for a championship atmosphere. Game to 3, got to win by 2 right now.
And it's weird to say this. For most teams, you come to the high school national invite, you want to see a diverse range of teams across the country. You want to be challenged in ways that you're not getting at home. This is the game that they came here to play, really, these 2 teams. Even though it's their own neighbors that they're playing against and they're doing it all the way across the country. This game and potentially the next game, those are the games that these teams wanted. Are these high-level competitive games that are going to go down to the wire and really test the mettle of these players.
And they have some onlookers here on this one. Looks like we have a couple of teams that have come over to watch.
It looks like Ingram and South Eugene. See some players from South Eugene in in that group. You can see what they, which I quite like, these patterns they've got with the trees of the Pacific Northwest with the rainbow over the shoulder. A scenic view.
Oh, Chloe Hakimi able to just barely get that one off. Pull play here. Slash by Snyder across the front of the stack. Back to Chloe Hakimi. Good undercut by Lucy Mertz.
And now into the part of the field where Roosevelt has struggled.
As another slash from the front of the stack, but there's a stoppage. It might have either been a foul or a pick.
Yeah, I'm seeing pick signals here, so I imagine they're going to discuss about whether it was involved in the play.
So you got to talk to her about like how you're contesting that?
Because I didn't feel anyone near me when I ran. I was like right next to you, but because you left from the stack. That's where the pick. I was the front.
Okay. So your claim is that
I was the front of the stack and I ran. So if she had to go through people, she had to be behind me. So that's I don't see how that would be a pick. That just means she was just too far.
Okay, your claim is that she was beyond 10 feet, and therefore. 10 feet is, yeah, so like the reason, this is just a rules clarification. The reason why you might contest the pick is, it wouldn't be a pick if she is beyond 10 feet or she isn't guarding you. So if she's guarding you but she's 15 feet away, then it can't be a pick.
I just feel like there was no one near me, and so I wouldn't have caused that. So
And you would have felt it if it were within 10 feet?
No, it was within 10 feet, but I don't feel like I caused the pick. I don't know what else to say.
I see, so
Is that just not how it works?
So I'll just provide further rules clarification. You'd only be contesting this if you thought that she wasn't within 10 feet or that she wasn't guarding you. And guarding you means that she's looking. All right.
So I was fully honest. I was sorry. I think you went right in front of the stack.
Right.
I was trying to cut through, but then I was blocked.
And so ideally when we're trying to contest something, it's because we perceive something to be the case or not to be the case. So we'd want you to say that I saw for sure that she was beyond 10 feet or that she definitely wasn't guarding me.
I didn't know. I definitely did not know she was guarding me. Definitely did not know she was guarding me.
I'm wondering if maybe we can come to a resolution here just between ourselves. So you still want to maintain that there was a pick? All right, and you're still obviously maintaining that it was. So I think the best way we should do this is just treat it as a contested pick and send it back. Are we happy with doing that? Otherwise, I have no idea. Okay, that's totally fine. So what we'll do is we'll say that this is a contested pick, and we'll send it back to the thrower. I'll ask you to return to your positions that you were at the time of the pick.
Okay, so we're both back in the stack?
You're both back in the stack.
I think that's the right call from what we saw on the replay. There was a lot of movement up the field and people kind of swirling around each other. And it looks like that's Ella Widmeyer who called the pick as she was chasing down Nora Snyder.
A bit of an odd situation, though, because the outcome is roughly the same. Contested pick, uncontested pick, basically the same thing happens. Disc goes back. Roosevelt doesn't get the completion. The only thing that changes is really the position of the receiver and the defender.
Oh, man. Good read on the play by Lincoln. They're able to get the block. A long stoppage in that pick discussion leads to an immediate turn.
Samantha Medina able to jump the lane at the front cone yet again. How many times have we seen Lincoln get a block at that spot?
And we have an injury as Nora Snyder goes down, grabbing her right knee.
Snyder and Widmeyer bumping into each other, and pretty routine handler defense scenario, but Snyder obviously in discomfort.
Immediate calls to the trainer, which is never a great sign.
And this is obviously a difficult situation for the teams because they're beyond obviously the wider concern for player safety and whatnot. I mean, this is a game that's really close, Both teams really want to be successful in this game to move on to the final to face South Eugene in the High School National Invite Championship. And we've already faced disruptions, and on top of that, the teams have faced a number of other elements that they've had to deal with, whether it be the wind, the temperature. So there have been a lot of things thrown at these players, and this is another thing they're going to have to deal with and adapt to.
On top of what potentially could be losing one of Roosevelt's top players in the closing moments of a very close game, a game that was, up until really the lightning delay, a very nice flowing game. Teams are able to get their feet underneath them, run their sets, run their offense, get a cohesion on defense. And ever since we've come back from the delay, it just long point call here that leads to a long discussion, which of course you have an ultimate. That's part of the game, but it's just one thing after another right now.
And this is a team also playing without Chicago Elephants, so they were already running a bit of a tight rotation at this point, and it's going to be either tightened or the coaching staff's going to have to turn to some new personnel to get the work done. As it is, Lincoln's going to have possession of the disc at about midfield with a chance to work a break after getting yet another red zone block. Their red zone defense has been very strong, but they have not been able to convert going from right to left on your screen.
And with that,
we're
very close to cap. Very close to cap.
Sub.
40 seconds.
All right, so we'll restart. Just wait for everybody, the coach to clear. No stall, no stall. Coming in, saying stalling. Not yet. No. It's good. Yeah, everyone's got to clear. It's going to come in with a check. So you'll make sure your team is ready. She'll offer the disc you, and you'll check the disc in.
All right, here we go. 12-12, 14 seconds. As we're waiting for the tap. Cap will go off here in this point. Since it's tied at 12, we already know what the cap's going to be. It's going to be game to 14.
Did you do that math on your own, or
it was challenging. It took me a couple seconds. I'm glad we had the observer cut in, but I knew it had to end on this point, and that +1 as a throw behind the receiver.
Strong defense from Roosevelt, pinning Lincoln to the sideline, taking away the offline reset option, and that forced a high stall throw that was incomplete.
Deep shot immediately. Hertz is the target. Back corner. Did she get her feet down? No, she did not. Right into, I believe that's the photographer bag. That was well off the field. Chloe Hakimi taking her shot.
Hakimi has not been hesitant about taking these deep looks, especially to a target like Mertz, but Medina and Gadu just applying too much pressure, not enough room.
Great handler defense there by Roosevelt. They're finally able to get it off. Faye Burdick. Good snag by Gadu. Power position chance by Whitmire. No one was there. She hesitates, takes it. Oh, and Chloe.
That is just outstanding play by Chloe Hakimi.
Oh, but then immediately throws it away. I don't want to say it, but I don't want to say it.
Really wonderful defense, though. Cuts off the much bigger player and holds position from there.
Lincoln punches it in on a short field. Kate Campbell, the sophomore, able to get a goal in crunch time.
And I think that Lincoln may think that they just won the game. They're celebrating and looking around like they're ready to get at a high-five line.
We've had a lot of time management and cap questions at this tournament. As you see Campbell, her teammates wanted to elevate her and she shook her head no.
And, there was actually an interesting matchup on that point. Kira Landgraf, who subbed in for Nora Snyder when she left the field, was matched up with Widmeyer and was doing a really excellent job taking Widmeyer away until she wasn't. You know, that's how it is sometimes in the game. You're doing a great job until you aren't. And Widmeyer found just enough room to break free and ends up getting it towards the end zone and helping get the field position necessary for Lincoln to finish that possession. They've been working on trying to get that possession throughout this second half, and they finally string it together in the clutch.
That was a break there for Lincoln. It was a long point. Easy to lose track of it, but Roosevelt's O-line came out. They worked it down. Keith, you mentioned the amount of times that they were just able to stuff Roosevelt right there at the front cone multiple times in that point. Grind it out, able to score, and now they are on their game point.
And most of these players have played pretty much every point in the second half. Probably 10 of them, 8 of them have played every point in this second half. But you know what? These are teams that have been in not quite cruise control, but have been comfortable throughout this tournament. They've been able to save their legs for a game like this.
Chloe Hakimi over to the sideline. Mertz. Oh, Hakimi was trying to reset and go backwards, but Mertz threw it anyway. Lincoln with a chance to win the game here and punch their ticket to the final. Oh, but then coming in for the D, Mertz gets it back.
Yeah, it looked like Mertz and Hakimi were in a dominator set. Roosevelt saying, "Can you stop these young stars that we have?"
Tanner putting it downfield. Oh man, what a layout there by Bella Mansfield. Got that white nice and dirty. Just missing.
Mansfield lamenting missing out on that one, but really gave it a full go. So certainly can't say it's for lack of trying.
Again, if Lincoln scores, they take this semifinal and will face South Eugene for the championship. Long way to go. Wind is in their face.
And that was that centering look that we've seen from Lincoln so many times to set up the deep shots, and that one's sailing a bit.
Through the hands of Mansfield.
You think these players know that the game is basically on the line here? They certainly look like it.
Here's a look. Nice and floaty. Gadu coming in. Fakes off a throw. 2 Lincoln players there for the game. Lincoln is going to the championship. Ella Monahan with her 5th goal of the game sends Lincoln into the final.
Lauren Gadu just able to get up and secure this pass with force. And then this is the situation that we saw hurt Roosevelt so many times, right at that spot. And Gadu pump fakes the first look. She says no to the second one and waits for the play to develop to give her a backside easy option. And somewhat poetic that the look that gave Roosevelt so much trouble is the one that Lincoln successfully navigates to win the game.
So Lincoln will move on and they will face South Eugene. The first appearance in high school nationals for Lincoln, and they get to play for the title. As you see the signs of sportsmanship between the teams. It was a good one. An exciting first half. Of course, we had a lightning delay kind of slow things down. Ella Widmeyer, she had some great shots early on in this game, trying to get it to Anna Amin.
These two teams were so talented and put together a highlight reels worth of plays. Maybe chief among them, this layout, Callahan to go to half from Anna Pettis. They'll move on to face South Eugene in the final. Girls Division here, high school national invite. Can anybody stop South Eugene?